Welcome back, grade 9 science students. Today we are about to discuss the last topic of grade 9 science about constellation. This is the last topic of quarter 3 science grade 9, constellation. What is constellation? Constellation is just a group of stars that forms a particular shape in the sky. So when you go outside during nighttime, when the sky is not covered by clouds, you can see millions of stars, no? Countless stars up in the sky. So these stars forms different shapes, and these shapes has given name, and these are called constellations. Here, one of the famous constellations we know is the Orion. And in the Philippines, we can observe Orion most of the time, but most of the months, but I think it is very clear during February. This is the constellation Orion. You will see these stars here. Now, if you connect the stars, you will form a shape. This one. It's like a hunter because Orion means the hunter. These three stars is just the belt or the Orion's belt. So again, when you see this group of stars up in the sky during nighttime, this is the Orion constellation. No? You connect the stars and you will form a hunter or the Orion constellation. Before we study constellation, let us first study about stars. Stars are just uh, any one of the objects in space, just like this one. Stars. There are many stars in the sky. Objects in space that are made up of burning gas and that look like points of light in the night sky. These are the stars, points of lights in the night sky. And of course, in dealing with stars, we can also study the characteristics of stars. Stars have three characteristics: size, brightness, and of course the color. So when we see characteristics, it is just the nature of a specific thing you study. For example, here I have a leaf, no? So one of the characteristics of leaf is that its color, it has a color yellow, no? The color is yellow. So being yellow is one of the characteristics of this leaf. Now, stars also have three characteristics. The first characteristic is the size. Now, stars vary in sizes. Closer to the Earth looks bigger. So of course, stars appears to become bigger if it is closer to the Earth. To which I say stars from very far distance from the Earth appears very small. The second characteristic is brightness. Now, brightness depends on the two indicators. We have apparent brightness and absolute brightness. Now, the star's brightness as seen from the Earth is the apparent brightness. So, during nighttime when the sky is clear, you can see different stars with different brightness. Now, upon seeing those different brightness, those brightness are the apparent brightness. You see them directly before your eyes, no? Right before your eyes, up in the sky, you will see the different brightness of stars, and that brightness again are the apparent brightness. The second one, of course, is the absolute brightness. Absolute brightness is the brightness of star would have if all stars were the same standard distance from the Earth. This is the brightness of stars would have if all of them forms a single line having the same distance from the Earth. The brightness you will see from each of them is the absolute brightness. It is not uh, based on the distance from the Earth, because if all stars will have the same distance from the Earth, then they will have different brightness, and that brightness from each stars is the absolute brightness, the real brightness of stars. So again, apparent brightness is the brightness of stars that depends on the distance from the Earth, while absolute brightness is the real brightness of the star. The third characteristic of star is the color. It indicates the temperature of stars ranges from red to blue. So the different colors indicates the hotness, no? The temperature of the different stars. Here we have the different example of stars with Sun, Proxima Centauri, Epsilon, Vega, and Alnilam. Then the color of Sun is yellow, Proxima is red, Epsilon is orange, Vega is white, while Alnilam is blue. You can see then from the temperature they have, Alnilam has 27 degrees Celsius. Meaning to say Alnilam is the hottest among the five stars. Its temperature is 27 degree Celsius, while the least hot is the Proxima Centauri having 2300 degree Celsius. So when we base the temperature of the stars according to colors, you will say that blue is the hottest, second is white, then the third one is yellow, and the fourth one is orange, and the last is the red. The hottest is blue, while the the coolest is the red. Okay, but I forgot to explain apparent brightness and absolute brightness using pictures, so I want to show you different two different stars. Shown here are the two stars, Sirius and Rigel. When we look at them closer, Sirius is quite bigger compared to Rigel. So when you look at them in the sky, these are their no, absolute no apparent brightness. No, this is the apparent brightness of Sirius, and this is the apparent brightness of Rigel. It seems like Sirius is brighter compared to Rigel, and also Sirius is bigger compared to Rigel. But what about the size? Here we have the white one, Rigel, and Sirius here. So mean to say, Rigel is quite bigger compared to Sirius. Again, Rigel is quite bigger compared to Sirius. But when we look at them, Sirius is bigger compared to Rigel because of the distance. Because Sirius is closer to Earth compared to Rigel. Okay, that's the apparent brightness. But when we base them on their absolute brightness, I think Rigel is brighter compared to Sirius because Rigel is quite bigger compared to Sirius. Okay, so much for the stars. We will now study the different examples of constellations we have. First is Orion. Orion means the hunter and is prominent in the night sky on all winter. For us in the Philippines, it is on February. Early, early Filipinos visualized this group of stars as balatik, a trap used in hunting wild pigs. Christian Filipinos named the three stars Orion's Belt or Tatlong Maria or Tres Marias. And the question is, how will Orion look like in the sky? This is it. There are many stars in the sky, but as you see them, there are prominent stars that forms a shape. These are the stars, this one, the three stars, and this one, and okay, this. Now, if you connect them, you will form a shape. The shape is like a man, or shall we say a hunter, a person. Now, in this picture here on the right, you can see that the hunter is formed from the different stars forming Orion constellation. When we look at this closer, you will see that the Orion is like a hunter. No? We can also see that the three stars here represents the belt of the hunter. Then this one and this one are the hands of the hunter. The belt and then the legs, the right leg and the left leg. So that's it. This is the Orion constellation. The second one we have Polaris. Polaris is commonly known as the North Star. It is the brightest star in the constellation Ursa Minor. Looking at them in the night sky, you will see stars, 5 stars. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I know, 6 stars or 7 stars. Now, you connect them and you will form an arrow. Now, where is Polaris or the North Star? This one. This is the Polaris or the North Star, as indicated in the figure on the right. It forms an arrow. So this is the Polaris constellation, and this is the Polaris or the North Star. Indicates direction. And of course, the next slide will show you different examples of constellation. In March, you can see different example of constellations: Cancer, Orion, Leo, and many more. How about April, May, June? These are the constellations you will easily see in the month of April, May, and June. Then you have also July, August, September. Then October, November, December. Just pause the video so you can familiarize the different constellations found during the different months of the year. March, June, September, December. And of course, I have also here the list of the different March constellations. You have Cancer or the crab, Canis Minor or the little dog, Carina, the keel, Lynx, the lynx, Papis, the stem, and many more. We have also here June constellation, Boots, the herdman, Cercinus, the drawing compass. Libra, the scale. I think you're familiar with this one, Libra. Next, we have September constellation. Aquila, the eagle. Then, December constellations. We have Aries or the ram. I think you're familiar with this one, Aries. So again, March constellation, June constellations, September constellations, December constellations. So the next topic we have here is that how early people use constellation. So they use them as calendar, and the other one is navigation for calendar and for navigation purposes. As calendar, for example, Orion. Orion indicates coming of cold season. So if Orion becomes prominent in the sky during nighttime, that would mean cold season. Another one is Gemini. When Gemini is prominent in the sky during nighttime, farmers interpret it as end of planting. I think summer will occur because it is the end of planting when Gemini appears in the sky. Then the second one we have navigation. So constellation is also used for navigation, just like Polaris allowed sailors to find their way as they sail across the sea. Next one we have the stars and constellations used by Matigsalog Manubo of Bukidnon. So I will just give one example. We have Balatik, or known as Orion's belt in Western equivalent. In Western countries, it as Orion's belt or Orion's belt. But in the Philippines, especially in Matisalog, Manubo, o Bukidnon, they call it as Balatik. Now, the month of appearance is February. So during February, Balatik will appear, and then it would mean start of planting. Okay, they use it as calendar. No, it indicates start of planting and setting of crops, protects the crops from animals. Okay, so just pause this portion of the video so you can see another example of different constellations and what they indicates and how they help farmers during early days. Okay, thank you so much for watching the video. I hope you learn, and I hope you like the video. If you like, please subscribe. Thank you so much and have a nice day.